Ireland's a small country, we need immigration, of course we do. But when you flip the switch that certain people can enter Ireland without papers, without identification, you're putting everybody at risk. If you mention the subject, you're against refugees, which is bullshit. My father was an immigrant, but the government play loose and fast with words, and they want to paint everybody into you're against immigration, and that's not the case, and it's a lie. And I think that trick of the switch, whereas if you have any criticism of the government's policy, then you're right-wing, you're racist, you're against refugees, and it's a very dangerous game they're playing. It always gets me this, and it makes me slightly emotional because, Ireland have been fought from outsiders for so long. They dealt with the English, they dealt with the abuse in the church, and now I see scenes of the Irish Guards being used to silence and quell Irish people who have genuinely legitimate concerns about their safety, about their communities, about their daughters, about their mothers, and yet they're being tarred with a brush that is not fair, and it makes me angry because these people have lived in this country for generations and generations, and their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, they had nothing. I saw it. And they worked themselves into the fucking grave, believing that they were leaving something of value for their children, for their grandchildren, and that is the Irish inheritance. And to point that out has become almost radical, and it shouldn't be. It's common sense. These people who were left a beautiful country, a safe country, now feel that that's in danger because of government policy, or should I say because of EU policy, because at this stage, Irish government are not running this country. Was anybody told at the last supposed election that this vote would mean that you would have to stand by and watch Ireland being changed forever? And that's what makes me angry, and what makes me upset is to see decent, kind, gentle people being taken advantage of. And this is something the Irish have had for millennia. They're good people at heart. Of course we got our own fair share of gobshites and Egypts. That much we all know. But at the heart of it, they're compassionate, they're susceptible to guilt, they care about people, and they can be made to care about things which have nothing to do with them. As a child, we used to send money to the black babies in Africa. That was where you have to be caring, because if you don't care, you're not a good person. So we were brought up in a culture of being nice. And as I said before, being nice is what's got us into this shit. People wanting to do the right thing, being sort of mentally persuaded to be kind, to be generous, to the point that their own safety, their own culture, their own heritage, and their own inheritance is now in danger and at question.